Yo, what's up everybody, this is Sane here. I'm going to quickly explain the build I'm playing before we get into the video. If you don't want to see this section, you can quickly skip ahead of it. Let's get into it. So on DEATHGIVERs, I'm playing Q2 always, no exception. I always go W1. If it's a DEATHGIVER versus DEATHGIVER matchup, I go Chain Slash. And if it's a Bow or a Frost, I tend to go Shadow Edge. On Helm, I always go Mortal Agony. I sometimes go Balanced Mind. I sometimes go CD. It's just personal preference and how you like to play. I always go Wind Wall on my Knight Armor, and you can play any cloth booth for the energetic sprint. I always go Undead Cape just because Mist has a ton of rats and this will save you a bunch load of times. I always go Snapper because it synergizes with Plate and having more HP, and I go Healing Potion. With that said, let's get into the video. Alright, in the first fight, it's going to be a DEATHGIVER versus DEATHGIVER. I'm on Plate, he's on Mercenary Jacket. He manages to Chain Slash my W1, and that's why I generally like to go Chain Slash in a mirror matchup instead of the Thorn Blades, because it's very easy to iframe and dodge. Because of that big mistake, I have to reset the fight and go again. And this is why I love Throwing Blades. It does a ton of damage, but also gives you a ton of mobility. As you can see here, I managed to create a lot of distance with one Throwing Blades. And this is why having Knight Armor is so nice. He tries to run up, I just use my Knight Armor and perch him, and now I get to escape for free. Since I know I can beat him and I switch to Chain Slash, I'm gonna give this fight another try. We both Chain Slash at the same time, but I managed to dodge his Q and I have a huge advantage in Q stacks, and I get to do my E first. He managed to recover really well since I missed 2 Qs, and now he has the advantage. He's gonna do one crucial big mistake here, which leads to him losing. He uses Merc Jacket while he has 2 Q stacks, so I get insane perch value. Now I have 3 stacks and he's sub 50% HP, so I just pop my hood and I kill him. In the second fight, I'm fighting a Claymore. A really important tip I can give you is that DEATHGIVER E does magical damage, and Plate Armor has way lower magical resistance. So if you're ever facing a Plate, you're already at an advantage playing DEATHGIVERs. He actually wins the initial trade because I missed my Throwing Blade and my Q2, but since I'm on Starkhood, I have way better brawl than him, I stay in the fight. Sadly, a Quarterstaff rat dismounts and he enters the fight here. And even with the Claymore being lower HP and not having run on his boots, he decides to go for me. I do miss my Knight Armor perch, but I just dash through him when he dashes to me. I eventually manage to get away and I challenge the Quarterstaff to a fight. In this fight, it will be very important that I purchase Jacket and he does not get reflect value. And as you can see, I managed to perch it, and DEATHGIVER just heavily outbrawls Quarterstaff. Now he's the one running. He even tries to eat Snapper food here, like it would make any difference. I would have killed him here, sadly my Undead Cape procs, and when you're Undead Cape procs, you do way less damage. Even though I didn't kill him in that initial go, he still dies. In the third fight, we're versus a one-handed Frost. Against one-handed Frost, it's very important that you're on Shadow Edge, or otherwise you would never catch them. I managed with my Shadow Edge, he goes Invis, and I just bring him out with my Stalker Hood. And in this fight, I thankfully hit all my Shadow Edges, and that will be the difference between you killing a Frost and him surviving, is how many Shadow Edges you hit. It's very punishing to miss, but if you hit it, you're gonna increase your chance of killing Frost a lot. In the fourth fight, we're versus Brawler Gloves. The most important thing when you're facing Brawler Gloves is they can never get their combo off on you with Keeper Cape active. So you always have to purge Keeper Cape or kite it out. If you manage to do that, they will never kill you in Plate. Since I purchased Keeper Cape and he has no defensives left, he's dead here. Here's another fight against a Brawler Glove, and this just goes to show, even if I play bad, as long as he doesn't get to combo me with Keeper Cape, I will survive. As you can see here, he did his full combo, but never once with Keeper Cape on. I even managed to dodge T there. His cape procs now, but he has no abilities to use with it, so it's completely useless. And here he dies. Alright, Clysa, congrats on winning. I've DM'd you on YouTube how to claim your prize. In the 6th fight, we're versus a one-handed dagger. And a one-handed dagger is actually very easy to counter, especially with DEATHGIVERs. You just want to make sure to keep your knight armor or your E for when he uses his E. As long as he doesn't have his E or jacket, you always win. Here he engages, and I immediately purge him and E's his E. And now he's pretty much dead since he doesn't have his combo. And instead of kiting, he's just sitting here and trying to brawl me, but I win that every day of the week. In the 7th and last fight, we're against a cloth DEATHGIVER. This matchup can be very scary, but also very easy depending on how good the DEATHGIVER is. I usually just drop my full combo and kite and wait for it again. As you can see, he's at 60% HP and I'm at pretty much full HP. And he doesn't have any boots to kite, so if you ever win the first trade, you win the fight. I always kite the giant potion because he's pretty much 100% more tanky when it's active, so always try to use your boots or your E to space it out. When he hits the Starcode threshold, I immediately drop it, do my W and E, and here he almost dies. But instead of rushing for the kill, I'm patient. Since he doesn't have any run on his boots, I can always be patient and catch up to him. Our rat dismounts next to me, but he has 15-second cooldown, so I don't worry about him for now, and I go for the kill. Now that the DEATHGIVER is dead, I can kill the Frost, but first I have to get my Shadow Edge, and I have to get full HP. Now that I have Shadow Edge and I have full HP, now I can fight the Frost. He blinks away here, so now I just try to stutter step and dodge as many Qs as possible as I gap close to him. He pops his cultist robe, but since I'm right on him with Starka Hood, he barely heals anything. And you can tell this guy is bad at the game because after Eing me, he just runs in place instead of running away. And now because of all those mistakes he's done, he's dead here. Alright, thanks so much for watching the video. I've also started streaming, so if you want to watch me live, go check out Sane Albion on Twitch. Alright guys, please take care and see you in the next video.